Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative. Today we are going to be doing another planter piece, and you'll notice that I have some popsicle sticks. This has to come apart in order to get the piece out and you'll see at the end why it has to come apart, because, well, technically that's the only way I'm ever going to get it out. I have been spending the last 15-20 minutes devising the best way to keep this closed so that I don't have the ceramic resin coming up through the slot that's here. So I've devised this to the best of my ability, and I'm going to work on finding an even better way of keeping it closed. I had originally thought of using, but it doesn't work very well, is one of these. And the only problem is that because this spreads out, then it doesn't push it in at the bottom like I want it to. And again, you'll get the gist of it once we take this out of its mold. But yeah, so fingers crossed this does a decent job. If not, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, because I don't want to sit and hold this for any length of time. But we'll see what we can do. Now we're going to do our ceramic resin. We're going to do it white, but then I'm going to throw in the colors of purple and magenta by Mixed Mold, just to hopefully get a bit of a design on it. I'm not, it's one of those hit and miss kind of things, as we all know when we're working with ceramic resin or even resin, that you do what you think you want to do, and then it decides to do something totally different. We're mixing up 240 ml of the Mixed Mold, and I'm obviously going to have to do this off to the side because of my table being full of things. I've got a phone rack going over here, and I want to give you a couple of tips on the phone rack, just so that you know for future, in case you're making one and you decide you're going to mail it somewhere. I have some sage advice for you on that one, because I had an incident with one I had actually sent out. So let's get this mixed, and we will go from there. Again, if my table weren't so busy and I didn't have to support this mold, you would get to watch me mixing up my Mixed Mold. However, yeah, I have to give my table space to what's on it. So there you go. I hope everyone has had a wonderful weekend and may or may not be wanting to be back into the swing of things today. I can totally appreciate that. But I do hope everyone enjoyed their holidays last week for the July 1st and the July 4th. So I'm just going to get this out of the way and clean up so I don't get any stuff in. I have shaken these colors up. That's already happened, but I just want to wipe around the tops of these. And what we'll do is sort of what I've done in the past, which again I'd like to show you. So I'm going to put a couple of drops in, spin it around, and then I'm going to tilt it a little bit and put some additional color in it. And hopefully, as I say, and don't go over there, Natalie, because if you drop on there, you're not going to be a happy camper. Okay. And hopefully, you'll get to see what I've done as I am pouring it in to the mold. And I think we might have enough in there, so I don't want to just kind of spin it one way or the other, right? That might be enough. And I think I'm going to add just a couple of bits of the red on top of this, or the magenta as it were, because I've got quite a bit of a purple going. All right, let's see. And the problem with doing it the other way was that thing fell over to the side. I've made one of these already, and yeah, things were falling where I didn't want them to fall. And I think what we'll do is we'll just go back and forth on either side. That might help a little bit with the design. And then again, maybe not, right? Like, we'll see. I like those bursts of red that we're getting, or magenta. Call it by the right name. It's magenta. And the other thing I'm probably not going to do is tap it, just because I don't want to, and I see some ceramic at the bottom that I've got to get mixed up. So we're going to probably end up putting some purple in here now because of the mixing I had to do. All right. And I've lost my train of thought, but that's okay. If you were here, you could tell me where I was going. Mesmerizing, right? I still have some chunks at the bottom there. Wow. Okay, well, this is going to get really well mixed in, isn't it? Just going to put that over there. Stay together, stay together. Yeah, it's not staying together, is it? I'm gonna have to deal with this. And yeah, so that didn't really work, did it? The one side's staying fine, it's the other side that's jumping ship, as it were. Yeah, see, it's a bit of a tricky mold. I'm going to have to get that back, so I guess this is going to have to go on, even though I didn't want it to. All right, let's see if we can. La 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 la. Okay, sugar plum fairies. All right, get this together. Yeah, I'm seriously going to have to figure something out with this, just because. And that's not down near far enough. All right. Work with me, please. Come up, come up. There. All right, so we're going to have to be really careful pouring the rest of this in. So that's what I mean. I've got to find a way of keeping this together so that, and I'm glad you're seeing this. Yeah. I'm glad you're seeing this, so we'll just pour the rest of this in here and let it be what it's meant to be. And I don't have like I said, I don't have a really good way of doing this, so I would take any suggestions at this point on what you think. Like, I know it's together, but this is unfortunate. It really is. Well, let's hope that I've just got, like, I've got it together. Yeah, so it is together up there. Like, I can feel those two pieces together. So we're just going to let this, I'm going to have to come up with a better way of holding this together. One of the thoughts I had was of putting pins through it, but I thought, that's not really going to work either, because I don't want to be putting holes in that. I had wanted to find some small scrap resin pieces that I could use in it to put the two toothpicks on either side of it and tape them together. So side to side, and I'll show you in a minute. I'm just cleaning off my blender tool here. My silicone bowl don't care about, because I can do that aside. Okay, so what I had thought of doing was, if I got two pieces, I took these two sticks and put them like this on either side, but I would need a support to sit on that, so then I could tape it together and it could just, you know, act as a vise, basically. I did try and take, and I couldn't get one that was going to fit properly. So I did attempt to use one of these, or try and find one of these clips to, again, put over it to hold it. But this is such a small space in there, and these small ones don't go out wide enough for it to clip on there. So I've added a bit of a tailspin, and I'm just going to take a quick drink of water. I'm in a bit of a tailspin now on what would be the best method to like keep this closed. I mean, thankfully this is staying upright, because yesterday when I was doing another one, it tilted to the side, and then, oh, that was just, I got the mixed mold, you know, it was one of those let's get it everywhere kind of things. Yeah, so we'll let that set up for probably a couple hours. I've got some other things I'm going to run around and do while this is setting up. And then we'll come back, and maybe while I'm off doing a couple other things, I will have some brilliant idea, or you guys will come up with a brilliant idea and you can let me know. Knowing that I really don't, I don't want to put holes in this, because the other thing I think of is it's not sealed up properly, because I'll have to take it apart all the time. Then it's possible that anything I put in the mold, whether it's resin, whether it's ceramic resin, it'll come out through those holes. So that isn't an option for me anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to not bother about it right now. It looks pretty though from what we can see, and hopefully you can see some of the side here. It actually looks kind of pretty, so we'll see it when it comes out, and fingers crossed that it comes out the way I want it to. Be back in a little while when it's time to take this out. I'm back. It's time to take this out. I wanted to show you before I took that off and out. This is the glow-in-the-dark flower I had done in the last video. It really glows well. I took it outside earlier today and out to my garage because I want to sand the bottom of it. Even getting it out there, it glows very well, which is pleasing, and it's got a more of a blue hue to it than a green. I just thought I'd let you know that. All right, let's get this out. I'm going to show you the one I've already done and what I've done to the bottom of it. And again, any suggestions for how I can hold that together, I am open to them. Okay, so that popped off easy enough, which is great. And this has had about 2 hours of dry time in here. I'm going to have to clean this very, very well if I'm going to use resin in it, which might be fun. All right. So we'll just do that and fold our mold down. And here is our cute little piece. All right, a little bow plant holder, and the coloring's not bad. I mean, it's what's it called? Grunge. I'll call it grunge, but I do like having sort of the darker pops of color in it. It does have a design to it, not sort of full all the way through, but that's okay too. You could always, I guess if you wanted to, you could sand it down so it was smooth. That's not my intention. All right. So we see, and it is meant, well, they showed it as a planter on Temu. All right. Now, the underside, now I guess if you wanted to, you could leave this piece in here and just smooth out the top of it. I'll show you what I did on the other one I've got. And this is actually a little bit nicer at the top here than what this one is. Now, maybe you can and maybe you can't see, but I'm not level over here on either side. It wasn't held together well enough, so I didn't get put back in. But I shaved that down with my Dremel to give it a rounded look. Now, again, if you wanted to, you could just smooth this out and leave it, because it's going to harden. Now, I had left this one to harden, and so I couldn't just break it out when I went to do it, and I knew I was going to have to use my Dremel on it. But I suppose you could leave it in there. It's not helping anything. It's not hurting anything. So you could leave that in if you wanted to. Yeah, I guess you could leave it in. May not matter. And then the other thing I noticed when I was sanding this, and again, I think once I have figured out how to hold this together correctly, it'll be more even. Like, these will be more even than what they are right now. Because you can see on this one, there's a tiny little bit of a lip, but over here, not so much. Now, I did sand these down a little bit because I needed, I wanted to get the smoothness. But I did notice they're not quite level. And again, that could be because of how I was trying to hold that mold together. Now, this one wobbles a little bit. Okay, so can you see that? Yeah, obviously, you can see that. This one's got more. So it's interesting how, if I sand that down enough, I'll probably get rid of the wobble. I'm not overly concerned about that. But again, I think part of it is because of how, the sort of bit of a difference between how the two were held together. I mean, it's got a bit of, but it doesn't wobble like the other one. And you definitely could put a hole in this if you wanted to. It'll be easier to see because there's a ledge in the center here where you could drill a hole, or it depends what you're going to use it for too. You could use it for dried flowers. I don't have a lot of thoughts right now on what it could be used for, but I think it's cute. I do think it's a cute piece. And let's see on the other side, yeah. So I ended up with a gaping hole. It doesn't go all the way through. I'm going to fill that up probably with resin, and use a yellow UV resin. I haven't quite decided sort of the decorating I want to do on these pieces. Now, this one really doesn't need it, but I'd like to do a little something with the yellow one. So that's that. Now, I'll give you a little bit more about this phone stand, and then we will be done with this video. I mailed this out to someone who had liked the design I was putting on a previous one, obviously not this one, because I have to do it again. What ended up happening was these two pieces broke off. I believe that was totally my fault. I had a card that was going with the package, and instead of taking everything out, I sort of shoved it down, and I think what might have happened is in the shoving and whatnot, it got pushed in. So I had originally packaged these in bubble wrap separately. I don't think I would do that again. Fortunately for me, the person is a very good friend of mine, and she's going to come pick up another one from me. I did them separately, and I also think that had. So imagine if you had wrapped this in bubble wrap, this in bubble wrap, and then you had it sitting, and I'm not even sure how, I had them together like this, but somehow I think with the fact that there was too much distance between the bubble wrap for both pieces, that if I was shoving on this, that it gave way. I don't want to think that it got damaged in transit. Do I know that for sure? No, I don't. But I do know how I was repackaging it. So I'm doing another one for her. Not a big deal. She has makeshift glued these back on and taped them, which is fine and dandy. But I said, no, I need to make you a new one. And that's what I'm going to do. So I wouldn't have been as concerned if they'd been resin, but I think next time I would probably just put a piece of cardboard or paper or something between them and have them so that they're together, and then wrap them up.
so that, you know, that doesn't happen again, and we don't have an issue in transit, and somehow make it so that it's held down firmly, so this piece is not going to go anywhere. I was concerned that it had been this piece that had broken, but it was the legs on the other one, and all I could think of is, oh, Natalie, you need to not package, so like take it all out. So that's my tip to you, that if you're sending something out to someone and you forget to put something in the package, just because I've had this happen, is take everything out, repackage it, put it back in, and then support everything, as opposed to what I did. Anyways, that's my tale of the phone stand, my ceramic resin. So I'm going to decorate this one up anew, and then she's going to at some point come by and pick it up. Hey, if I can share my trials and tribulations with you, it gives you food for thought with your own wrapping if you are sending something out to a potential client. Well, that's all I've got for today's video. I hope you found this helpful. Again, if you have any suggestions on that mold, I would love to hear about them, because I think it's a very cute mold, and I'll have to see about potentially, you know, putting some fake flowers in here, like something that drapes a little bit. Or what I could do is just take it to my sister's and get her to fill it up, because she's the flower one in the family, with her flower stand and whatnot. So she would be the one to figure this out. Anyway, have a great day. As always, be creative. Thank you for subscribing, and, you know, being part of my channel, showing up means a lot to me. And I will see you in the next video. Take care, and bye for now.